I'm Ernie Humphrey, Educational Programs Leader for Performative, the largest online community for corporate finance, accounting, treasury, and related professionals. I'd like to welcome everyone to today's webinar, 100% real-time cloud accounting and revenue recognition on the Salesforce Platform, FinancialForce Accounting. A cloud-based accounting application exists that combines the power of Salesforce CRM with a groundbreaking accounting system to provide you greater visibility across your business. FinancialForce Accounting is a comprehensive and innovative financial management system that takes a fresh approach to a traditional finance function. Today, Tom Brennan, Vice President of FinancialForce.com, and Claire Erskine, Solution Specialist of FinancialForce.com, will deliver an in-depth view of FinancialForce Accounting and revenue recognition in action. I would like to thank FinancialForce.com, whose commitment to thought leadership helps us make this webinar possible and delivered at no cost. A quick note on today's agenda. First, we'll hear a joint presentation from our featured speakers. Then we'll move to our interactive Q&A session where we'll spend the remainder of our hour. We would like this to be an interactive experience for you. So if you have any questions at any time, please go to the questions area in your GoToWebinar control panel and send us your questions. I can't promise to get all of them in, but we will do our best. And we'll follow up afterwards with any questions we did not get to. A few logistical notes about the webinar today. A link to today's presentation and video recording of the webinar will be sent out to all attendees within 24 hours of the event. Please note, today's webinar includes a tech demo and as such is not eligible for CPE credit. Again, we encourage you to ask questions on today's topic via the questions box in your GoToWebinar control panel anytime during the webinar. Finally, you'll be asked to take a short survey today regarding the webinar. We greatly appreciate your feedback regarding our event today, as we always strive to improve the ROI we offer our event attendees for their valuable time. A quick word about Performative. Performative is the largest online community and resource for senior-level corporate finance, accounting, treasury, and related leaders. Performative connects corporate finance leaders to provide instant advice and insights on the tough financial and strategic challenges they face every day. I'll get started with introducing today's featured speakers. Claire Erskine, Solution Specialist, FinancialForce.com. Claire has over 25 years of experience in the software industry, primarily in providing sales support for financial applications. From working with on-premise solutions at Ross Systems, PeopleSoft, and Oracle to helping launch Salesforce.com at the beginning of the SaaS revolution. She has acquired extensive knowledge on the issues facing organizations today, as well as the challenges in providing software and service solutions to the 21st century marketplace. Claire held a BS in marketing from the University of Massachusetts. Our other featured speaker today is Tom Brennan, Vice President of FinancialForce.com. Tom has over 25 years of experience working with many generations of technology, including the cloud and application service providers, ASP. Tom has held senior management positions in marketing, sales, and development at financial software and service companies, including Code Incorporated and ManageDops.com. Tom holds a BS in accounting from Mount St. Mary's University and an MBA in marketing and international business from American University. With that, it is my distinct pleasure to hand the floor over to Tom Brennan. Tom, the floor is yours. Please take it away for us. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Ernie, and thanks to everyone at Performative for putting this event on, and of course, thanks for all of you for attending. I guess, Claire, if we can go to our first slide here as soon as you're able to pull it up. First, what I'd like to do is just give you a little background on our company and our applications, and we're going to spend the vast majority of time in the app with Claire. So just to give you some background on FinancialForce to start with, we build financial and professional services automation apps on the Salesforce platform. And so we're backed by two companies, Salesforce.com and Unit 4. Salesforce, you probably know, is being a pioneer in online CRM applications and cloud platforms. You probably know them well, of course. And Unit 4 is a $600 million company that's been building financial apps for over 33 years. You might be familiar with the Coda brands or Aggresso brands of ERP applications. And so what you're going to see here today is sort of what I would say joined-up effort between a leader in business apps for the back office and the leader in cloud platforms, Salesforce.com. So if we can go to the next slide, what I wanted to do is just give you a little background on some of the things you're going to see here today. And one of the words you will hear periodically is the word platform. It's probably the hottest word these days in the world of cloud applications. And what's really happened is cloud computing has evolved. There was a day where you just went out and you bought an application and it was a freestanding cloud app online, if you will. But now what's happened is these application platforms have gotten very rich, and they provide a full, robust environment to run your whole business in the cloud. And so it's evolved. So what you're going to find, and we found when we were actually getting ready to build applications, you're going to find that you're going to need to take a look at how robust these platforms are and how they can support not just your accounting part of the application, but other things that you're doing in the business. And so just to give you a little background on this is when we looked at this, we try to decide, okay, we're going to go out and we build our own platform ourselves, like some of our competitors have done, or we're going to take advantage of Salesforce. And we decided on Salesforce for a bunch of reasons. You know, one is they had broken the code, so to speak, on being able to run cloud apps securely and safely. They have over 100,000 customers on it, so we felt safe putting financial information there. And you know, from an infrastructure point of view, they have that all worked out. But really what we found intriguing about it is as you move up this chart, you know, the bottom chart is sort of the data center side of cloud computing, if you will. It's the next level up, and the one after that where it gets really interesting to us. And what Salesforce has done is provide an environment where when you get their services, you get a number of other applications that are right embedded with your business apps. So for instance, the workflow and reporting and dashboard apps just appear when you build an app in their environment. And for us, it was great. We didn't have to develop it, but also, you know, those apps are the same ones used by Salesforce CRM customers as well. And what's really, I think, unique, though, is that these aren't apps that, if you look, say, if you're in a Microsoft environment, you got a window out to a lot of different things on your desktop to get to workflow, which might be separate from a reporting tool. This is all in one environment, and so it's a real leap, and it is much better for the user to have a more holistic environment. So you'll see us use a bunch of these things in this second layer here. You know, a form builder to be able to change and modify and edit things, enterprise search across the whole application, dashboarding. And one of the big ones you're going to hear us talk about is Chatter, and that's a social media tool that's embedded within Salesforce, if you have it today, that allows you to have conversations about things. You can have conversations about a transaction, an object, like an account, for instance. And what it really does is it changes things where accounting apps in the past have been very just transaction-oriented. It now allows you to embed conversations in on those same things. So you maybe have a conversation about why an intercompany journal was processed a certain way, or a conversation about why a customer hasn't collected. So we were the first app to have social media in it, and you'll see Claire talk about that later on. So then the next thing I want to point out is we were able to take advantage of what was also on the platform at the time, and that's Salesforce Sales and Service Cloud apps. And so the CRM apps, if you will, that are there, we're able to build on top of it. So we're able to take the Salesforce account object, which is used to sell to, and extend it and use it for accounting as well. And the beauty of that is you only then have one record in the company, and you're able to, when you create an invoice, and Claire will show you this, and post it against the account, it's done against the same account that you might be selling to, and then you have only one place to go. We'll talk and show you a lot more about that. So it just greatly simplifies it technically, but also it's great for the users. Then if you move to the right there, the other thing that we thought would be really intriguing and powerful for our customers is that Salesforce has built what they call an app exchange, which is essentially an online market where you can download apps similarly, you know, like you might do for your iPhone. It's sort of the corporate version of it. There's over 2,000 apps that are available for you there that might do anything from document management to sales commissions to all kinds of specialty and industry apps. And we thought it was important to have an environment where our customers could extend our apps and add other industry and specific things. Then the last thing is beautiful about this is you can add your own apps very easily. So if you've got some sort of funky stuff that you've built in spreadsheets out there where you gave up trying to put an app in your ERP system and you've built spreadsheets on it, there's a good chance that you may want to do it right here in the platform. And the beauty of that is you get the same benefits that we do and Salesforce does. You can use those same objects, and when you add, say, an object for, say, sales commissions or something, the workflow, Chatter, reporting, all that's immediately available. So we just thought this was a great holistic platform for a company to build their business on. So that's what we did. We built accounting with GLA, PA, and AR, billing app, revenue recognition, professional services automation if you have billable projects, and a media billing app as well. And incidentally, we're going to be focused mostly on the accounting, billing, and RevRec side here today, but you can use each of these individually or all at the same time, in fact. So if we go to the next slide, one of the things I wanted to mention, a couple things before I put Claire on, is that this allows us, going in on the platform and joining things up with Salesforce allows us to solve a number of problems, and this is one of the main ones. And that is, many of you may have purchased Salesforce or for CRM, or you're thinking about Salesforce, but you have an on-premise accounting system of some kind, or something like a QuickBooks or an entry-level system. And in the middle, you may have some custom systems or something for billing that might be on spreadsheets. And this is a real typical scenario that we see. We literally have 3 different systems to handle a process. And so what you have here is you have 3 sets of customer records. You might have rekeying that's going back and forth in between these things. What happens then is your data is broken up into 3 different pieces, and your people don't have full visibility to what's going on with the customer in particular. And so, wrapped in this is, there's a lot of processing time. There's costs in that. There's also inaccuracy. Sometimes we find this environment, there's a lot of billing problems. And so when the bills don't go out right, the customers don't pay, that pushes your cash out, and it also makes your customers unhappy. So this scenario causes lots of other problems that then add up into time lost, inefficiency lost, and actually cash and real savings to the bottom line. So if we go to the next slide to summarize, really what we've done is we put it all in one place, as I mentioned, where in particular in the opportunity cash process, you can sell on the Salesforce platform, and we're able to create invoices directly from any object, or including opportunities that sit on the platform, create that bill, and push it through the accounting system. We can push it through, you'll see it's a real-time accounting system when everything posts through. And then ultimately you can decide how you're going to recognize the revenue, pull data off the platform to help you recognize the revenue rather than doing it off in spreadsheets and trying to find information from multiple locations and track it. You're able to do it right there in the app. And then by having this all in one place, you get some great analysis of your business and of your customer and your P&Ls, of course, particularly down to that customer level. And so what you'd solve here is then that data problem. You have visibility to everything. Your processes collapse down in time. They're much more efficient. Bills go out correctly, and you're able to close the books and collect cash faster. So the next thing I just wanted to add in here, and I'll put Claire on, is this is a robust app. It's ideal for you. We have a lot of customers that come off entry-level bookkeeping systems that have outgrown QuickBooks, for instance, and need to move on. I'm not on the next slide here, Claire, if you could go to it. There you go, thanks. So it's got multi-company, multi-currency capabilities in it. It's designed to do great reporting, and Claire's going to show you that. That's one of the big areas that we see when people need to change systems and they've outgrown an older system. They need better reporting, and there's all kinds of ways that we can help you there as well. So great if you have an entry-level system you've outgrown, or if you've got an older client-server app that you need to retire, and you're tired of dealing with the servers and a lot of the other things that go with it. So it's a great upgrade route. So with that, I'd like to introduce Claire, and we'll have Claire. Maybe the best thing we do is just start off and take everybody on a little tour and show them what this is like.
Hi, Tom. That's a great idea. So you should be seeing my desktop now. Just want to confirm that.
Yep.
Perfect. And certainly what you've described and the fact that we are built on the Salesforce platform really gives our customers the added capabilities that Salesforce delivers. So without us having to worry about the infrastructure, we can just focus on building out our applications. And for those of you that use Salesforce or have used it in the past, my landing page should look extremely familiar since we are built on the platform. And it's much more than being integrated, because it truly is sitting on a single database of information. You're going to have exactly the same look and feel, whether you're a sales user or, in our case, an accounting user. And that begins right from logging in. You'll see in my URL that I'm logged in as a Salesforce user, dropped into my landing page, and then depending upon what are my critical functions, you can see those displayed as tabs across the top. And these are actually a mixture from both, in this case, FinancialForce as well as Salesforce. The ability to, you talked about the cross-platform search. So being able to type in any piece of information and be able to go across, and you can see here it's found BrightMay across projects, our PSA application, and invoices, opportunities, cases from the Service Cloud, and that quickly be able to identify the information that I want to see. So being able to search in multiple applications. With my drop-down list I have in the top right-hand corner, this is a listing of everything that I have access to on the platform. So, of course, I've got my traditional Salesforce tabs across the top, and, of course, we're going to be focused in on accounting, but any other applications as well, whether it's PSA or something else from the App Exchange. The ability to quickly get up to speed and navigate because it's all the same user interface. One area certainly that is great, and you spoke about now from an accounting perspective, is chatter. So really being able to extend that collaboration and those conversations now across the different teams in an organization. I'll just expand my chatter feed here on my landing page, which is everything that I'm following and seeing, whether it's a note of a quick dashboard, some other information relating to opportunities and other accounts. And if we take a look at one of our accounts, we'll see maybe a more specific use of chatter at a customer level, where you can see a number of people that are following this customer. So anytime anything is entered, whether it's done by the system, which you can see we've got a couple of those where a reminder letter was sent, so that's automatically documented, but also here a conversation between the controller and the accountant as far as making some collections, but everyone following will now be kept up to date. So rather than those disparate emails going back and forth, you truly have everything documented in one place, be able to have those dynamic conversations using chatter and keep everyone up to date on what's happening from that perspective. Certainly you can see very prominently displayed under my dashboard headings are some very key metrics that I want to see when I log in first thing. These are components from dashboards, being able to take advantage of that dashboard capability, which certainly from an accounting and finance perspective really extends the use of Salesforce and being able to provide to everyone, as I like to say, their view of the world, and done very graphically, being able to consume a lot of data at a high level, and then if need be, of course, be able to look at the underlying details. And underlying typically are reports, which we'll take a look at as well, about the ability to report on any information across anything on the platform. We'll see here also I've got some items to approve. That's taking advantage of the workflow and approval engine. So being able to first off create approval workflows for whether it be payables invoices or journal entries or really any of the different documents, as well as create workflow rules, which really help automate a lot of processes that for many of our customers are very manual, to be able to update fields and send out emails and create notifications via task. So to really help automate many of the processes within the financial application. So really being able to, again, at a high level, take advantage of all of those platform capabilities on Salesforce.
Thanks, Claire. You know, this is to everyone, if you use this Salesforce, you know that you can customize the views and how you go into the system, and that's no different here. We chose a certain layout here, but there's all kinds of things you can put on the screen that are important to you. This is what we did for Allison, the accountant. I think, you know, the next thing is I see the dashboards there, Claire, is maybe we go talk about kind of the whole ability to go in here online 24/7 and drill down. And one of the reasons why we should do that, last week we did a great performative webinar with Brian Summer. We did a poll in the middle of the session, and one of the things we asked is, what are the top benefits do you see of cloud accounting? And the ability to get information, you know, anytime, anywhere, really came up high in the list. And I suspect one of the reasons is that today, if people have, say, an older system or an on-prem system, they have to deal with firewalls or either going to the office or putting PC Anywhere, one of those tools, to be able to get in at their data. So why don't we take them on a little tour on how they can go in from these dashboards and down into the details online?
Yeah, absolutely, Tom. I certainly do remember those days, and very limited, had to be in the office, really limited access to information, and certainly with FinancialForce. First of all, starting with the dashboards, again, that very graphical view of your financial data. And we've certainly seen over the years that people really like that view. And in taking a look at this example, just call this my profitability and metrics dashboard, which is really various components relating to really all of my financial data and being able to track it in a number of different ways. So being able to deliver essentially, you'll see I've got a number of dashboards in my drop-down list, and being able to have users access to all or some or perhaps even just one, their own view of the world. And with the dashboards, being able to have those components not just be specifically from FinancialForce, but they could be from Salesforce as well or other applications. So truly creating their view and giving them information that they need to have in order to do their jobs the best they can. And then have access to those, as you said, 24/7. All I need is a browser, or certainly with mobile capabilities. It would be tough to look at a lot of information like this on your iPhone or your Android phone, but certainly from an iPad, for example, and being able to use those more streamlined devices to get access, whether you happen to be stuck on BART out here in the Bay Area, or maybe on vacation on the beach in Maui, but always be able to have access to the information. And then in doing so, in doing any kind of certainly research and analysis, being able to drill down into those underlying details very quickly and easily. So with the dashboard, being able to see and get that kind of that 50,000-foot view of information. And so, for example, clicking here on my monthly expenses by department, that takes me down to that next level, which you'll see from my tab at the top, and really from my next level view is actually a Salesforce report. So those typically being the source of the data in my dashboards, and with the reporting tool, being able to really slice and dice data, and more importantly, as you'll see, to be able to quickly get to those underlying details. So being able to review and see my totals in this case for my different departments, which in our case are housed under Dimension 3, which I know we'll get to a little bit later. And we'll see my rows or my expenses. And then I can just click on my Show Details. And this is going to explode the report out now down into that transactional level of detail that I can now look at, click on a given transaction, and now actually be able to review all of those details. So in this case, be able to see what my actual postings were for this transaction. I can see that it came from an accounts payable invoice. So again, with a single click, be able to go back to the source document. So in just a few clicks, starting out at that very high-level dashboard, whether it's for profitability and metrics, as I have here, or perhaps on the accounts receivable side and very focused on that process, but be able to always start at that high level with the dashboards, that great display, and quickly with just a few clicks get down into that next level of detail.
Well, thanks, Claire. One of the things we're showing you here today is, by the way, this is in a typical browser interface. You can use the browser of your choice. But if you're as crazy as Claire is and you're on Maui, on the beach in Maui, you're probably going to have a mobile phone, and you're going to want to go into these dashboards. And if you get a chance, we can show you, or you actually can see it on our site or the Salesforce site. These same dashboards are all available, whether it's an iPhone or an iPad. And you can if you're working that hard, you need to see it there on Maui, you're able to pull it up right on that mobile device. So I guess why don't we move into some of the concepts we talked about earlier on. And I was pointing out that many of you have probably got multiple systems and multiple customer records in between different systems. So Claire, can you kind of lay out how we share that same information model with Salesforce and what the value of that is?
Oh, absolutely, Tom. I mean, and that certainly is very key. And I'll actually do that from the accounts tab and looking at really one of the key master data objects that really originated in Salesforce. I mean, this is the accounts. These are companies or potential customers that become customers, et cetera, this data being housed at the account level. And for many of our customers prior to coming to FinancialForce that also use Salesforce, then they added a new customer in Salesforce. They'd have to go over and rekey it in their accounting system and set it up for invoicing, et cetera. But again, that's one of the huge values that we deliver is the fact that we're using the same master data. So in this case, in viewing my account, I not only have my CRM links, so I'll see, of course, my opportunities and, of course, my contacts. And if I were using the Service Cloud, I've got cases as well. But you'll notice now additional related lists and hover links that now show my sales invoices and my credit notes, payments, financial correspondence. So what we do is we extend the use of any object that's needed, very primarily obviously here with accounts. Now you have that complete 360-degree view of what's happening from your customers. I showed you earlier the chatter feed, so now you've got conversations between sales and between finance, but you now have the ability to also give access as need be, for example, to sales, so they can see that, oh, well, these invoices have been sent out, which ones have been paid, which ones have not been paid, and truly be able to know everyone's looking at exactly the same data. So there's no having to run an interface or synchronize data from one system to another. We're truly leveraging what really originated in Salesforce, extending the use of that. If I scroll down a bit, we'll see a number of additional, actually whole sections in this case, containing data points that we now need in order to process from an accounting perspective. Certainly a real-time account balance, so being able to drill in and see exactly what does this customer owe us and what are those all those given transactions. So being able to again deliver that it's really a shared data model, knowing that everyone's looking at the same data, and because of the way that the platform has been designed, something that's, I think you mentioned this a little bit earlier, Tom, with form creation is essentially being able to create different views of the exact same data. So as a salesperson, I may not be able to see certain financial information, and that can be done for setting up my own view with the appropriate hover links, the appropriate action buttons, and even down to the field level. So that everyone in the organization is seeing everything that they need to see, and probably more importantly, they're not going to see data that they should not be seeing.
Yep. And then you add chatter onto that too, and this is earlier on I was talking about there's this transactional view, and it's nice you get it all in one place. That's the first step. But then you can then have conversations across departments about what's going on with an account. The nice thing about this is it's tagged right to the account or the transaction, depending on where you're doing the chatting, and it can become part of the audit trail of what you're doing. So it's a great thing to have when you're doing your audit backups. You can say, here's why we did this. This is why we tried to collect it. This is why we did the write-off. Conversation's all there. You don't have to go out to other types of work papers and such. So Claire, I think this is a good point now is to take them through, the whole process now, soup to nuts, is how did transactions flow from Salesforce right through the opportunity cash cycle and right on through RevRec. I know that's a big chunk, but if you wouldn't mind taking us through that, that'd be great.
No, absolutely. In fact, let me click here on an opportunity that I'm already displaying. So, as you mentioned, Tom, certainly, again, another huge value that we're able to deliver to our customers is being able to seamlessly take the data, not having, once again, to rekey it or run an interface. But in this particular example, we've got an opportunity that once it's been closed won, it's ready to invoice. We'll take a look at the line items. So here are the products that we're selling. And now in order to process from an accounting perspective, again, we've added the appropriate data points onto the products, primarily the general ledger account codes, as well as at the account level. For the control account. So now we have our accounting pieces in place. And then being able to, in this example, take this opportunity, and if I click on Create Invoice here, I'll then, in a single click, be able to leverage that data, the products, the account information, whatever needed in order to create an invoice from an opportunity, as we have right here now in FinancialForce. So extremely powerful. Now, of course, obviously for purposes of today's presentation, I just did a real-time one-click, but also be able to do it in the background, essentially. So if you've got multiple opportunities, you can create essentially a button or through a view list and select a group of them to turn into invoices. And in doing so, certainly be able to, again, you see I've got my automatic link back to my opportunity, so if I'm ever doing any kind of research or looking at this particular invoice, I know exactly that in this case it came from this opportunity. Now, something I know that you mentioned as well, but certainly want to reiterate once again, is that it's not just from an opportunity that you can do this. This is very typical of what we see, but perhaps you create and use the data in Salesforce contracts or quotes, or you're using another system, another application on the platform, or potentially you've built your own custom object that houses the data that you use to invoice your customers. So rather than having to, again, have create and have to run an interface or rekey data, what you just saw me do from an opportunity to a sales invoice, you can do with any object on the platform. Again, with the having the appropriate data now, I've got my account, I've got my line items for my invoice as well. So really being able to extend the use of being able to create invoices and do billings. And again, we also have customers that's exactly what they use us for, is that they have their billing information on the platform, whether it's in Salesforce or they're another application or a custom application, and we're able to create and leverage and do really the same seamless movement of data as it goes from one object to another, in this case with sales invoices. So just again, a really great takeaway for our customers. Now, kind of moving into, so here now we essentially have now our financial instrument, i.e. a sales invoice, and we have all the appropriate information that's on here. You can see accounts, we've got all the appropriate dates, summarizations, we saw the line items that came over as well. And as I said, now both behind the scenes at both the account and the product level, you've got your appropriate general ledger accounts to create those essential debits and credits in the general ledger. Now, from a and certainly, we deal with this ourselves as a SaaS company, and many companies as well. Really being able to now, with all of the rules and regulations that have come into play in the last several years, revenue recognition has really become very much in the forefront of many, many companies that we deal with. And so many companies today are having to do it essentially offline. They're using spreadsheets, multiple worksheets within spreadsheets, et cetera, to be able to do that. So with our capabilities, and I'll actually go here and we'll take a look at our revenue recognition, and this essentially is really more of the end result, but our revenue recognition module really extends. Certainly we'll talk about it right now in context with FinancialForce Accounting, which you can see here I've designated, and I'm showing several sales invoices down to the line item level, and recognizing revenue according to the methodology that I've set up. You can also see up here I'll just click on real quickly on the project tab, because of course it works with our professional services automation application, and even here a billing contract, which is actually a custom object that's been built out. So we've been able to our revenue recognition is not just available just for accounting or just for professional services, but it can be used against any object that's on the Salesforce.com platform. So really, again, really extending the use of that. But certainly from we'll go back and just look at sales invoice perspective, and with revenue recognition, being able to essentially determine, first of all, and set up what those different objects happen to be, whether they're invoices or contracts, as you can see here, projects, etc., and then being able to essentially define what that methodology is. Is it percent complete? Is it deliverable? Is it equal split? So being able to create those methodologies that are used, and certainly with the process of being able to create, if I select one here, you can see create our transactions and then actually commit them. Really what we've built in and what we've heard from our customers is providing them with, first of all, a tool on the platform to be able to go after the data at the source and not have to move it anywhere, and then also as well to really be able to deliver controls for the the finance side of the business from an audit perspective and compliance, and really give organizations visibility as to being able to say, well, we invoice one way, but we have to recognize our revenue in a different way, according to GAAP and other standards. So certainly we could have probably spent the whole entire hour just speaking about this, and but hopefully that's a good enough review and high-level overview, and certainly as people want more information, can certainly contact us as far as that goes. And then once again, those my invoicing entries are again, that's done on a different path. Click on Post, which will finalize and post my entries to the general ledger. Then it's immediately available for use in reporting in my dashboards. And then on the revenue recognition side, again, being able to create those appropriate entries as well to match the revenue side of things. So hopefully that was, again, I know probably a pretty big chunk to talk about in this time, but hopefully enough to give everyone a good feel for the capabilities that we have.
Thanks, Claire. Sorry, I probably gave you too much to do at one shot there. But hopefully you picked up, there's some really great things about this. Is you're able to pick up the invoice data from anywhere on the platform with a click, and we'd love to show you our click link tool. If you talk to any of our folks, they can show you how that works, and pull that in, create the invoices and the accounting entries, and post. And that posts through the financials. It's a real-time entry. So what's happening is your AR and your GL side of the entry are posted at the same time, real-time. So as soon as you hit post, your financials are up to date. There's not a batch process to run. There's not a month-end reconciliation that needs to be tied out, because it's part of what we call a single ledger system. It's real-time, and that's one of the the great advantages of this. And of course, if you're there sitting on Maui and you refresh your screen to look at your P&L, that invoice that Claire just posted would be reflected in those numbers. On the RevRec side, the beauty of that is, I know a lot of you, as Claire said, are using spreadsheets for that. And the data, in many cases, the proof and things are coming from different places. And so you jam it in a spreadsheet. What we're finding is that a lot of the data to do RevRec, not just the invoice type of data, but the proof side of it, that something got delivered, or that somebody accepted delivery, or you may have a case where you verified that a project is complete or something. That data is on the platform, and we're able to pull that in, and you're able to get audit trail back to it and lock it down once you post. So when she did that create transaction and commit, there's an audit trail there, so you can't do it again. And I know that's one of the problems with spreadsheets, is kind of if there's a chance of recognizing the same thing twice. And the beauty of this is it locks it down, and then you can drill back to that source data that helped you give rise to the revenue right there on the platform, rather than you're in your spreadsheet, you got to go start looking things up in different places. And from an auditor's point of view, it's all right there. It ties out very beautifully. So, Claire, what do you want to do next? Do you want to move to AP?
Yeah, that's we can do a quick look. Let me go back to my landing page, and actually we'll take a look at that from a. We've got a payables invoice here to approve, so even take a little bit of look as well at what the approval process looks like, and having that set up and being able to deliver. Obviously, this is right from my landing page where I get a summarization of the transaction to approve. You'll notice the history. I can see exactly all the steps this has gone through. And also, approvals can be delivered through chatter as well as through email, and being able to respond likewise in those applications as well. So several different ways of getting that information out to the appropriate approvers in a very timely way. Now, as an approver here, I can look at the details, and we'll see that my payables invoice looks very similar. Again, the same look and feel of the UI, in this case of looking very similar to the sales invoice, my hover links. And something that's we seem to get a lot of feedback on is the ability to be able to attach to scan in the original invoices on the payable side and be able to review those as part of the process, which makes it really nice for approval. Likewise, being able to certainly create payments for your payable invoices, both either electronic or printed checks. Many companies are now, even in the U.S., moving the way towards Europe with doing things much more electronically, so certainly being able to support that as well. And then from a dashboard perspective, if I'll just bring up real quickly my view of the world as accounts payable, but being able to, again, pull all the information as needed in a dashboard, and whether it's a list of reports or looking at invoices by due date or by vendor, or what needs to be approved or payments on hold, average days that we take to pay, and in this case, payments that we've made, being able to summarize that information nicely with a dashboard from the payable side.
Claire, do you have that set down at the bottom, that approval process I think you showed?
Yes.
Show that. Yeah, one of the things points I wanted to make here, we're showing this in an AP context, is workflow works in any part of the app, and it's probably the same workflow tool if you're using Salesforce today that your sales and marketing team are using to move things around on that side of the house. So an expense report, for instance, could go from sales through the sales management right through to AP here as well. So you have one workflow tool that applies across your whole company. And again, it can be used on an AR process, it can be in a financial month-end close process. It's up to you how you apply it. Okay, so I guess the last subject before we probably close up here, Claire, is to talk about reporting. Earlier on, I mentioned that one of the big reasons people change financial systems is because they're not getting the reports out they need. And you know, I've found, and Claire and I have talked about this and a number of times, because I guess we have similar backgrounds over the years, but we saw a lot of the old-fashioned systems are still prevalent today, frankly. And a lot of the older systems are very rigid in how their chart of accounts were designed. They're what we call code block oriented, where you had to put a lot of intelligence in the accounts. A lot of combinations at times was difficult to maintain. And so there was sort of a tendency not to put much information in there because it was going to cause you a lot of nightmares in terms of maintenance and then dealing with running trial balances and things. And then on the other end of the spectrum, the entry-level systems, while great, and they're great to get a business off the ground, eventually sort of run out of places to track information that you need for your business, and especially as your business gets more complex, where you have different lines of business where you may need, you know, real in-depth project accounting on one side of the house, then you have some heavy product-oriented things on another side. You're trying to get the chart of accounts to work so it handles all that. It can be difficult, and you end up making compromises, and you don't get the information you need. So one of the things that we've done, took great care of is with this, and this is our background in building these systems, is designing a very flexible chart of accounts system using what we call dimensions. And rather than me telling it all, I should let Claire show you here, I think. And also not just how we track the information, but then how do we get it out. So reporting is really a two-phase thing. It's that chart, and then it's the reporting tools. Claire?
Yeah, absolutely, Tom. I mean, how often people have these huge 15, 20, 25 character single GLA in order to get reports to work the way they want it to. So, as Tom said, what we've done is we've taken a very relational view of how this should work. And what you're looking at is a transaction. This is actually a sales invoice, and these are the debits and credits that were posted. And you'll see that these are all independent dimensions. From company code to, of course, the actual natural account. We treat both account and product as independent dimensions. So you can report on those independently. And then you've got 4 user-defined dimensions, 1 through 4. So now you have these independent pieces that you can pick and choose and even combine to build out on dashboards. So again, going back to our profitability and metrics dashboard, these are all examples of charts and reports that were actually built using the different dimensions. Here's revenue by region, monthly expenses by department, product profitability, project P&L, sales by facility. These are all accessing data on one of those given dimensions, and certainly extending that down to reporting with the Salesforce reporting tool. We do deliver a number of predefined reports that you can take, you can make changes to, being able to go in. If I bring one up here that I've created set up here, go to all folders. There we go. I'll find it there. There we go. And in calling up the Salesforce reporting tool. So this is a great tool for your everyday transactional-based reports, quick ad hoc reports, being able to go in and save these as a new report and change the parameters on them. For example, I can drill into and take a look at sales revenue by customer just with a couple of clicks and drill into the details using this. So now I can see all my revenue by my customers. So very, very powerful, again, utilizing that Salesforce reporting tool by being able to go in and perhaps now I can customize this and go in and say, well, now you know what, I'd actually like to see this by one of my dimensions. So being able to go into the tool itself, I can look for a dimension, just drag and drop that into the report, run it again. So very quickly be able to make it purposeful at this point of what I need to look at, and utilizing, again, all of the different dimensions that we have that are available. Now, this also extends, and as Tom said, we've been in this business for a long time and certainly worked with a number of different financial applications. And something that really is needed is not just an ad hoc type of tool, as the Salesforce reporting tool is, to really give you, again, those ad hoc reports, drill down capabilities, but then also to be able to really produce your more formal, external-facing financial statements. So in addition to this reporting tool that covers, again, all the data on the platform, we also do provide you with FinancialForce reporting, where we do provide a number of pre-configured, really more financial type statements. But again, this can also be used for any of the data on the platform. You'll see vendors, but you'll see here listing of balance sheets and income statements, etc., and trial balances, all essentially being able to give you that very key formatting option. So if we take a look at a balance sheet that I ran, kind of a side-by-side balance sheet, again, utilizing the summary information that's available that you can set up your general ledger accounts at, so to really enable you to configure and format your financial reports the way you need to. So with the combination of both FinancialForce reporting as well as the Salesforce reporting tool, you have a really complete solution to give you access to all the data in the formats appropriate. And then certainly what many people end up finding is that, of course, the use of the dashboards grows as well, because that gives them access to exactly the information that they need at any point in time.
Well, great. Thanks, Claire. And I guess, we need to move along here, but hopefully everyone's seen the power of this. There's only so much we can do in, say, 45 minutes or so, but please, contact us to see more. There's a few more, just a few other points we wanted to make, and then we'll go to Q&A. If you're new to the cloud and you're wondering, well, geez, can I really trust this stuff? We understand, and we want you to take a look at trust.financialforce.com. There you'll find all kinds of information about how we take care of the systems that we deploy for our customers. There's information about the security inside the platform. Then there's the information about the SOC 1 audits that we go through ourselves to make sure our processes and how we deploy apps are done correctly. Then you'll see quite a bit about how we put controls inside the apps and guarantee that we have high-quality apps that we deliver to our customers. So I urge you to go take a look at that. if you're also coming into the cloud, if you go to the next slide, Claire, we've got customers in lots of different industries, so we literally have not seen an industry where the cloud and cloud apps don't apply well. And you'll see a lot of our companies tend to be growth companies, a lot in high tech. People are really moving and need to kind of be thinking about how they work on the business rather than work on maintaining systems and older systems and technology. They want to focus on the front end, if you will, of the business. So you'll see lots of high tech customers. We're happy to provide you references. And then to learn more, if you go to the next slide, certainly come on to our website, FinancialForce.com. You can get an online chat with one of our folks there. You can email us, call us, whatever mechanism is best for you. There's lots of demos out there and content. One of the things you may want to look at is the Vital Analysis ebook, which is a quick guide to cloud accounting that you can get and download there. The other thing, if you happen to be going to Dreamforce next week with the other 120,000 of our friends, we'll be there in force. We've got a couple of booths. We have several sessions that we're in. So you can see more on our site called dreamforce.financialforce.com. Then last but not least, we've got something that's fun for you as well. We had a little fun with the conundrum people in finance face these days with spreadsheets. Well, we love them because they save us and let us work around lots of different things. There's also times when spreadsheets can be a real hassle, and maybe we've gone too far with them by building apps in them, like billing and things in them. And so this little video is a fun takeoff on the movie The Hangover when you've gone just a little too far by using spreadsheets. So go out and take a look at that. With that, I'll turn it over to Ernie, and I guess we'll go to questions.
Okay, thank you very much, Tom and Claire, for your great content and your insights. My first question I will direct to Claire. Can you give us an overview of how the system handles multi-currency?
Oh, yes, absolutely. So we're fully compliant. You have the ability to set up any number of currencies, and combined with multi-company, the ability as well to designate both a base as well as a reporting currency. So the ability to run all of your reporting in the local currency for a given company or entity, as well as to be able to consolidate at a common reporting currency.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Claire. Next question I'll direct to Tom. Someone's asking, can you tell us a little bit more about your professional service solutions and project accounting?
Yeah, sure. There's, I guess, maybe two levels to it. If you're doing what I would call pretty simple project accounting, you're not billing customers. When Claire was going through that dimensions capability, it's really easy to set up one part of your chart to handle the work in progress and the project of that and put as much detail in there as you need. The neat thing about that is the other parts of your company don't need to enter all those digits or have to deal with it. So you literally can have a set of project codes that are specific for that may have a a 6 and an 8 and 4-digit numbering scheme, where the other parts of your company may need only a 2 and a 4 and a 3-digit scheme. So I know there's maybe a little more advanced concept to get in right here, but the idea is you can set up the chart for each part of your business to reflect what you want to do. And project accounting in the simple, straightforward way is a great way to do that. If you're doing projects that you're billing customers for, I would use our Professional Services Automation app. And what that does is it's sort of a cradle-to-grave kind of approach, but it begins just like we did with CRM, is it begins at the opportunity where you're able to take an opportunity and convert it into a project. And from that project, you're able then to assign resources against it of various skill sets that you elect. You set up that project and a plan around it, and then you start accumulating time and expense against it, and you can see where you are. So it's used to actually manage the project and then all the financials that are going into it. And then when you get to a certain point in time, you're able to create what we call billing events. Those billing events can be used to pass off to, say you have a parent system and has SAP, you can pass off those billing events for billing to that parent system. Or if you're using our financial system, we can do the billing for you as well, and the AR and GL right on through. We call that systems or services resource planning, where you're running CRM, PSA, and accounting all in one system, which is a great solution if you're doing services as well, as many companies are these days.
Okay, great. Tom, I'll go ahead and direct another question your way. Can you tell us how you integrate with the other applications on the platform, and as the other applications are updated, is there any effects on the FinancialForce piece of that?
Yeah, it's a great question. There's a couple ways depending on the level of what you're doing. The first way is what I alluded to earlier, is a product called ClickLink, and the idea of ClickLink is for you to click, not code, integration between apps. And so, for instance, if you wanted to create an invoice from a service case on the cloud, you have an item there. Someone takes a call on a call center, needs to create a bill to send to a customer, as an example. Another one is on RevRec, where you've got a contract amount in a custom object you built. You want to pull that in. ClickLink can do that. So basically, pulls the data in and creates that relationship between those two fields in the system. And that's done by somebody which I would say has a reasonable level of platform knowledge, does not have to be a coder at all. And what it does is it actually creates the relationships, and it basically allows you to turn that integration into a button if you want, or you can run it in the background like Claire was talking about. So you sort of can buttonize that, push the button, so pull that RevRec now kind of thing, or create invoice on that sales case screen, and you're doing it without coding. And basically, it embraces all the accounting rules we have under our system, which is known as an application programming interface, that protects your data from things to make sure that things are going in the right period, that debits and credits are equal, account codes are valid, things like that. And so it protects it from that. And then it upgrades with it as well. So that's at that level. And then if you've got something very complex, especially if you're coming from something off-platform, we have that API is callable by web services. So if you've got an old on-premise system that you can't get rid of quite yet and you need to integrate data, that's a great way to pass data from one to the other.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Tom. I'll direct my next question to Claire. Can you speak to if and how you can restrict access to various parts of your accounting application by user role, potentially?
Yes, absolutely. We are able to take advantage of the multi-level security that actually comes in the platform. So even for individual users, you have the ability certainly to restrict access to a given object, and even down to fields within that object. So you can be very particular and very strict as to who can access what information and whether they can just read and edit, or read and edit and delete.
Okay, great. Let me ask a follow-up to that. So is there also the ability to run security reports by user to see which actions were taken by specific users?
Yes, you actually can. There's history tracking, so the ability to really see who's doing what in the system. Certainly more from an internal control standpoint, being able to say, well, who's creating reports, or who's modifying reports, or who's changing data, for example, on invoices, and being able to track the old and new values and who did it and when they did it.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. I'm going to go ahead and launch a quick polling question as we wind down the Q&A. We'd appreciate your consideration in answering the polling question for us here this afternoon. My next question is going to be for Claire as well. Is it typical for sales to go in and create invoices in the system, or how does that separation usually work at your clients?
I don't know of very many companies that let their salespeople create the invoices. But that being said, the example that I showed you was there was a button right on the opportunity that said create an invoice. Now, the great thing about the fact that you can have a different layout is that a salesperson, first of all, would not have that button on their screen. So therefore, they wouldn't be able to do that. But let's say that was part of the company's process where a opportunity was closed won. They can click on that button and say, I'm going to create the invoice, but certainly with approvals in place, the ability to have that move through an approval process on the finance side, let's say, before you actually finalize and post that invoice would be something that would typically be used. So the great thing is there's a number of ways to accomplish what you need to, and certainly be able to, for each company, to be able to put their processes in place based on what's available with FinancialForce and with the Salesforce platform.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. In order to be mindful of our time, I'll go ahead and close the Q&A session. We will coordinate with our speakers in getting answers to any questions that didn't get answered during the webinar today, and we'll get those posted on performative.com. In closing, a big thank you to Tom and Claire for their time and insights. They're clearly thought leaders in their field and an excellent source of information on the base topic. Note in the post-webinar survey, which will be prompted to take right after the webinar concludes, you have the opportunity to express your interest in being connected with our great speakers with what are just a few mouse clicks. Again, a big thank you to today's sponsor, FinancialForce.com. A quick note, registration for Performative's second annual Performance Tech Conference is now open. It's all about helping companies take full advantage of the current revolution in corporate finance technology, such as the great FinancialForce.com applications, to drive results across the enterprise. Finally, a big thank you to the audience for your valuable time. We hope to see you again soon at another Performative event or online at www.performative.com. Make the rest of your day great, everyone.
Thank you, Ernie.